recorded, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. We've got really the pleasure of having Fred Cooper on with us tonight, and I just got the text that he's here, and we're really excited. I just spent, felt like a month, but we were there for 12 days going throughout Europe, and it was just amazing to see the response from all the different people to Fred and Deanna. And I really got a kick out of the people in the United Kingdom. They described Fred in a way that I'd really never heard before, as a mixture between Albert Einstein and Jim Carrey. And if you haven't had the pleasure of being on with Fred, I think you'll see it tonight. He really understands how to make things fun, even math, if that's possible. And I think that you guys will really enjoy this. And before I do it, I got to fast forward here to probably my favorite part of the whole trip. And Fred, you're probably muted and you can't see this because I know you're calling in. But this was my favorite picture of the whole event. We have Fred with his Scottish hat and his Scottish hair coming out the side. And doesn't matter where we were, we just had an incredible time. And Fred, are you with us?
If it works, I'm on.
You are on. Well,
yes!
We're thrilled to have you. We're thrilled to have you. And we've got some of the people from Liverpool on here tonight. We have people from Australia. We have people from all over the United States. And we just had an incredible time with you there. And it's a lot of fun to have you. And tonight, we're going to let you do what you do with your Inflation Sucks. And I'll be here to kind of take the questions and the calls. And remember, as we wrote in the email, if you guys want to be a part of this call, to be the volunteer for Fred, he's going to give you a couple rules for that. And then you can make sure you're in a quiet place where your microphone is working, and you can be Fred's test subject tonight. But Fred, welcome to the call. We're so excited to have you.
It's good to be here, although if you have somebody from Liverpool or a few people on from Liverpool, I think, first of all, you guys are crazy to listen to it again, right? You can get too much of a good thing. I'm just warning you.
Well, I know that everybody enjoyed it, and it doesn't matter where we were, but you've got people from all over the world on the call tonight.
Yeah, well, it's good to be here. And I'll tell you, Jeff, we had a great time when we were in Europe together. So that was a lot of fun. And we kind of went through, and I think we had a few people with an epiphany that what they're doing with their current job isn't working. And if you think about it, when it comes time to retirement, right? Okay, Jeff, you're the exception, because not only do you have your job, you have other jobs and you employ people. But would you agree or wouldn't you agree? Most people have this perception that they do what their mama tells them, which is you go to school, you get a great education, you go find a good company, you work really hard, and you're just kind of going to have a nice, comfortable life. And at the end, when you turn 65, you'll retire, you make your money, and life's good.
Well,
Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree. In fact, I went to law school, and I had to pay off my law school loans with ARIIX commissions. So that's typically the way it goes.
Yeah, and you've got friends now that are lawyers that now got a job. They're working somewhere. They're working for somebody. And I'm telling you, we all think doctors and lawyers, oh, well, that's who or what you want to be when you grow up. You'll make a lot of money. You'll be nice and taken care of your whole life. Your whole retirement's good, right? Well, tonight, what I want to do is take the opportunity to walk people through finance. So everybody tonight's going to get a free class in Finance 101. And I hope that when you're done, if I did a nice job, I'll scare you into believing that maybe what your mama told you isn't an exactly successful route for retirement at all. And when we got to do this all around in Europe, I think there were a lot of people when they got done. I know everyone that was doing it kind of said, wow, I didn't realize just how poorly the outlook looks like for anybody who's got a job. So tonight, I took the liberty of building a spreadsheet, and it was funny when we were there, Jeff looked at it and said, that has got to be the ugliest spreadsheet I've ever seen. It's not pretty. It's not graphically appealing. So Jeff took the liberty and he made it all gussied up. So what you're going to see on the screen was a product of what happens when you have a finance guy working with a marketing person to put together in an Excel spreadsheet what is going to be calculating as net present values, future values, interest rates, etc., to determine how financially successful you're going to be when you die. And I'm going to tell you something. It is going to be so astounding to you when it's over that I think you're all going to have a greater appreciation for old people. Because old people, hey, okay, Jeff, tell me, how does your old grandma or your grandpa treat you and the prices of things even today, let alone when you were a little kid?
Well, you gave the perfect example as we travel across Europe, where a quarter just doesn't quite buy the same things that it used to.
Yep. They all go through it, and they all freak out about how much everything costs. Okay? My boy has this crazy hair. I mean, it was crazy. It was so big and humongous. And he just said, "Oh, Dad, you're just a hater. And you don't know what good hair is. And I look fashionable." I offered him $100 to cut it. And I couldn't get him to take it. $100 just wasn't worth it for him anymore. So then I found myself about to few things that you can't believe when I said to him, just like my grandparents.
Hey, Fred, we're losing you just a little bit. There you go. You came back.
Oh, am I back?
You're back.
Oh, I said, I started to say things just like my grandparents used to say. It was just, do you know how much $100 is? Do you know what I would have used to do? I used to have to mow lawns for $5, and it would take me an hour to mow them in the hot sun, and you won't even cut your hair for $100. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm getting old, because I'm starting to realize just how much prices go up compared to when I was a little kid, and I don't feel that old. So today I want to take an opportunity to go through this with someone here on your conference call. So I'm going to need a volunteer. And I'm going to walk you through what I'm looking for. And if you're available, you can send something to Jeff, and we can sort through who's going to be a good person to do it. Now, we're going to first of all be talking about your personal financial situation. So, if you're a boy, I probably don't want you talking because you're going to lie and say it's better than you are. You know the tough part about doing a webinar, Jeff, is I never get to hear anybody laugh or chuckle, so you never know if you're being funny. You just ramble.
You do realize, though, I continued to laugh at you for about 2 weeks, and Deanna always told me I couldn't laugh because it was inappropriate. But if it makes you feel better, I'll continue to laugh at you throughout the call.
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate it. But, okay, so it's going to be your personal financial situation. So first, I jest about a guy, but if it's got to be someone who kind of feels like, hey, I'm a typical American. I'm doing what I should be doing. I'm doing it about what I'm doing. I've got next requirement, a full-time job. So ARIIX isn't your only business. You have something else that you go to every day, 9 to 5. I really don't care your age, but I wouldn't go too old. If you get too old, the chances of you having it at retirement by now, you're probably done for unless you do something different. So let's keep you under the age of 40. That'd be nice. And you're also putting away maybe a little bit towards retirement that you have. And you would say, in the end, I'm kind of the average American.
Well, you've got a bunch of people that are now saying, count me out, but you've got a bunch of people that are on there as well. So I think you've scared them appropriately. And so we're gonna wait now for 1 second as I stall just a little bit, and I'll just make sure you're in a quiet place so you can answer the questions. You're gonna interact with Fred. But we've got a very brave, a guy that I know. His name is Thomas. He's 46. and he continues to type in that he's going to do this, and and he's been pretty honest in all the calls I've had with him. What do you think? You want to have a I never saw you do this with the guy as we traveled throughout Europe on this. So you think Thomas qualifies? Since we've got a
okay, Thomas,
and a 46-year-old.
We'll take a chance with you.
So I'll give you the choice. You got a 50-year-old woman or a 46-year-old man?
A what?
A 46-year-old man or a 52-year-old woman?
Either works. Let's do something crazy. We're going to try a man.
All right.
Well, I think we did all women in Europe, didn't we?
That is all we did. I'm going to find Thomas on here. We got a ton of people on the call with us tonight, Fred. Let me find Thomas, and we're going to unmute him. So, Thomas, get ready to be unmuted here as I find you on this big list of people here. And if you are loud, we're going to have to turn you off. So here we go. We've got Thomas on the phone. Are you there, Thomas?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, Fred, you've got the first man and that I've seen this. We're going to see how this experiment goes.
Okay, Thomas, you're crazy. You're a sucker.
I cannot hear you, though, sir.
Yeah, you're a little bit...
Oh, really?
There you go. You're back.
Now I can.
Let me see if I can find a location where I'm imperfect. I was trying to avoid the web for that reason, so I don't cut in and out. So, is this okay?
Yep, sounds great.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. So here we go now, sir. This is all going to rely on you. We're going to see how well your future looks. Now, did your mama tell you go out and get a good job and get a good education?
Yes.
So what'd you do?
I didn't.
You did not get an education.
Well, I went to college, but I didn't graduate.
Okay, so number one, you made a strike on that. And by the way, I am an advocate of schooling. I do it myself. So I'm a big advocate of schooling. But the irony in that is while you did start out without an education, you probably handicapped yourself in a job by about 25%, just so you know. That's about what it's worth if you would have gotten a degree, and it goes up just a little bit if you would have gotten a master's and a PhD, but that's okay.
Well,
So tell us.
Well, actually,
go ahead, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Actually, I've been in sales my entire life. I've never had a salary or an hourly job after I was 23. I've been 100% commission since then, and I'm 46.
Holy cow. Okay. That's got to be gutsy because you're only as good as your last sale. Is that right?
Right. That's right. And that's why I got to do something different because I don't want to die of a heart attack at 50.
Oh, gotcha. I'm just curious, what kind of things do you sell?
Well, I sell money right now. For the past 23 years, I've sold money. I'm a mortgage banker.
Ah, okay. So how much do you make every time you make a sale on a mortgage?
That really depends on the size. Usually it's about 2% of the loan amount.
Oh, so that's decent, right?
That's mega cash, yes.
Yeah, so tell me, how much is the typical loan you make and how much is the typical amount you get?
So typical loan is about anywhere from, in Austin right now, 275 to about 350. So it ranges anywhere from 5 to 7 grand per loan, and you do about 5 or 6 loans a month.
So you make some serious coin.
Yeah, whenever it's good. I mean, that was not in my prime. That was like probably in the past 2 years. It's gone down a lot because the government's taken a lot more control over the lending industry. However, I've been as much as $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year back in the day before 2008, and then all of that went away.
Oof. Okay. What a heartbreak. So you're. Oh, go ahead.
It was a big heartbreak.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out a few stats today, and we're going to tell you where you rank in America and how well you're doing, which, trust me, by your numbers, when I said I'm looking for someone who's typical or average, you're sort of slightly, quite a bit ahead.
I don't.
Okay?
I will surprise you.
Okay. Well, here we go then. I'm going to ask you, we're going to start out with my little spreadsheet that I always say inflation sucks. because people don't appreciate how much things cost or how much they will go up in a long period of time. In fact, one of the biggest, strongest, most expensive things there is compounding interest. And you, of all people, would know it because people get a mortgage, right? They buy it. They buy a house for $300,000 there in Texas, and they don't realize that they're going to end up paying $700,000-800,000 by the end of the loan term, right?
Correct.
And it's an amortized rate, which means the net present value of one payment, I better say it simple. It all goes to principal up front, or interest up front. Nothing's going towards principal to any significance until towards the end of the loan. So in other words, you're paying all principal or all interest, no principal, and then the average person moves in 3 to 5 years. Hence, they owe about what they owe on the house, assuming it didn't go up or down. Am I right?
That is correct. The average life loan in Texas right now is 3.7 years.
What? Cha-ching! I'm just this plethora of knowledge. People just thought I just do ARIIX for a living, but I should have been a financial planner, I'm telling you.
I'm refreshed to hear somebody else say that and know those stats.
If I showed people, one day we ought to do a call just on home mortgages and show them how much an extra, they would think if I've got a mortgage of $500 a month, they think, what's $50 on the mortgage? Oh my gosh, it's a payment at the end of the life of the loan because that's how little is going to principal. Yes, so they really should put the little extra, but that's not, today isn't Financial Planning 101. Today is you're screwed unless you do something.
Yes, I am.
So, okay, so let's go through. As you can see on my spreadsheet, up on the screen first with Inflation Sucks, I have the cost of whatever today. So what I want you to do is I want you to think back a day or two ago, something that you buy every day. Now, it could be something expensive. It could be relatively cheap. But say you go for a latte at Starbucks, or you always stop and get something that you'd say, hey, this is a regular thing that I purchase. Tell me something you like that you buy all the time. Charmin bath tissue, I don't care.
Okay, I will say a can of snuff. How about that?
I don't think
okay.
I want to hear that one, but
so we don't have Deanna here, so we're okay. All right? So you're going to do a can of snuff. I'm proud to say I don't know anything about it. I don't even know how much it is. But what I'm curious is, how much do you pay for that today? Jeff?
Oh boy, we're still here. We may have lost.
Is anybody on?
Yep, we are here. Do we lose you, Thomas? Fred, you still there? Well, looks like we've got a technical difficulty going on right here. Fred, can you still hear us? Looks like we may have lost both of them. So I will stall for just a second.
I wonder if we should...
Oh, there we go. We've got...
Hey, I hear someone.
Yep. So you there? I've got you, Fred. And are you back, Thomas?
Jeff, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. So
wonder what happened.
I don't know. Let's see. Everybody's hears us, but they can't hear him. So let me go back and see if somehow or another he got muted. Okay, so we'll go back.
Yeah, you gotta hate technology.
Yeah. All right, let's unmute him. Thomas, are you back?
Yes, sir.
There he is.
I've been here.
All right, something happened, but he's back.
Okay, so we went back to, you picked a can of snuff, although I think it might bother people on that call for help, but I'll take it.
That's all right. I could pick something else.
Okay? It's okay. Okay, go ahead.
How about I get a cup of coffee every morning for $3.25 at Starbucks?
Okay, $3.25 Starbucks coffee. I love it. Okay. Now, we're going to try to predict, and we're going to be very close. We're going to try to predict how much that can, or that cup of coffee is going to cost you when you are about to die. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, let's go through. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and you give me your answers, all right?
Yes.
So the first question will be, how old do you plan on being when you die?
I would say probably somewhere around the late 70s, early 80s, probably, with my life cycles and my family.
Holy cow. Okay, well, first of all, you better start talking to Deanna, because she can help you. She can help you live a lot better and a lot longer, but your number is actually very accurate. The average guy lives to be about 78 to 79 years old, and the average female lives 4 years longer than that. Because I don't know why. I won't go there. I'll offend half the audience, so we'll just leave it at that. So we're going to put in, you're going to be dead at 79. Is that right?
I would say yes.
Okay, so you've got a good 30 years left in you before you're done. So now let's move to the next questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
Guess what the average inflation rate has been over the last 25 to 30 years here in America? Now remember, inflation, right, is how much goods or services go up over time.
Right. I'm going to guesstimate about 2.5%.
Okay, and you know what's funny? Okay, so you're almost my age. You got me by a little, but do you remember times in the Carter era, in the late 80s, etc., or the early 80s, with how much interest rates have been?
Yes, they were in the 13 to 18% range.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And so when you're going to go through it, you're like, holy cow, I didn't realize how much things can go up. And then other years, you will have it as low as 2 and 3%, right?
That's correct.
So you've got to pick the time you use and the other, and you picked what number?
I thought it would go up about 2.5% inflation rate. I'm not sure, though. I'm not an economist. I just know numbers.
Got you. Well, depending on what you use and how you use and the real economic interest, you're not a bad guess. But it's about 3.4 from some of the numbers, depending on which items you look at as an increase. Now, you're in the foods industry, which puts the inflation rate higher than it does in other areas. So you're actually looking, if we do food, at about 3.8. Okay?
Not too bad.
So
okay.
good, not a bad guess. So you're doing good. Okay, we're ready for the next one?
Yep.
I want you to tell me how much, oh crap, I lost my little picture. Just a minute, unless you can, oh, I got it, here it is.
Just
the next question I have is,
right.
Yeah, how much do you get if you put your money in a savings account?
Somewhere between 1.2 and 1.4%.
Yeah, okay, that depends on if you're willing to put it in for a longer period of time. But you know what? I'll give it to you on a CD, and I'll even give you the rate you want. It's a little less, but how about we go with 1.4?
Okay.
Now, this applies, the same situation applies. Sometimes interest rates go up a little bit higher, 2.5%, and sometimes they go down even less than that. So you have to kind of pick your poison based on where LIBOR is. So I've been fairly generous at a 1.4% interest rate average, okay?
Okay.
And finally, what is our tax rate here in America? Now, I'm not here to tell you it's all bad or all good or we're all going to pot. Notwithstanding, our income taxes do not stand a very good chance of going down over the next 30 years.
Right.
So, what are those levels right now? And I'm going to assume they hold flat for the next 30 years, which is not likely.
Well, isn't different income in different tax brackets?
Sure, we're on a regressive tax basis, so we start out with the lowest and we move up to the upper. So based on what the average American makes, which I happen to know, take a guess of where their tax rate is effective.
17 to 19%.
Oh, you're way low.
35%?
It is from 28 to 32%, plus I'm not counting home tax, which in Texas you don't have, so that's nice on property, but you'll pay it everywhere else, right? Or rather, no sales tax. So pick your state tax or what you have. The real effective tax rate in America, notwithstanding the goods and services you purchase, I'll give you the best rate on the planet at 30%. If you make a lot lower, yes, you can get it down to around 20, and of course in poverty levels you can get tax credit. But do you know if you get into the upper tax credit of up to 50, your real effective tax rate now is 50%.
God, that's as much as gambling winnings.
Yeah, with all the new taxes and with the disallowance of deductions upon certain levels, it gets ridiculous at how high our tax rate is by the time I add my state and my federal, because I have another 6% that I have to pay on my state.
Ooh.
So it's nasty. Okay, now your personal questions that are going to suck, but here we go. So my first question, okay, so we've got your age, right? 46?
Yes, sir.
So he's 46-year-old. And my next question is, how old do you want to be when you want to quit working? When you want to say, I'm done?
79.
You want to stop working on the day you die?
I hope so, because I love work.
Okay. Then I need a number that you would think the average American will want to stop at. Because most people don't want to work till they're dead. They want to do what they love to do at retirement.
65.
65 is a great number. Most people now think they have to do to 67, but I'll take 65 because you're right. That is the average time when people say, doesn't mean you can't keep doing what you love. You just won't be working a full-time reported job at 65. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Currently in savings, if I walked up to you and said, I want you to have readily available cash, so that would either be in a bank or a safe or under your mattress, how much do you have in your savings?
$249.
249 bucks. Okay, so if you put it in there, now, you know what's crazy? Did you know less than 2% of Americans could get their hands on more than $10,000 in 2 days? You want it even worse? The average American can't get much more than $1,500.
And the average American also lives from paycheck to paycheck regardless of the amount they make.
Oh, and if you're between the age of 29 and 44, you are spending on average 10% more than you make.
That's right.
You know, Fred, for a guy, he seems to be telling you the truth. No wonder he has to work till 79.
Yeah, this is shocking. So
I definitely, you know, that's why when a friend of mine, Ken Smith, and John were talking to me, it just all made sense, just all of a sudden. I never thought about creating residual income. So that was the problem. Yeah, that's correct. Paycheck to paycheck.
It's true. And then you always end up spending a little more, and then the interest you pay on those credit cards, you just get buried.
That's right.
Right? So, yeah, I'm impressed. You are a completely average American. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well,
yeah, anything else
actually enough using a guy that knows interest rates. Now, that is impressive.
Yeah, that turned out to be a blessing. So, all right. So now you want to retire and you would like to have a residual income in addition to whatever your Social Security is going to be or in addition to any ancillary income. So if you truly want to just retire and say, I'm receiving a monthly earning that I could live on, now keep in mind, things go up. Prices of goods and services go up, right? Think about when you were a kid 30 years ago, how much things were to you. How much a month do you say, I would really need about this much a month, or I'm really going to have financial problems?
Okay, I've actually thought, and this is going to surprise you, but I've really thought about this a lot, and I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I'm thinking to retire, I need to be making residually without working, including Social Security and everything, about $23,000 a month to be able to live okay.
You need to make $23,000 a month.
Based on when I'm 65, yes.
Yes. Okay, so part of our problem here, Jeff, is while he is the average American, this guy's got a brain. So as a result of that intelligence, you realize it takes a lot more in the future to live. But what you're really talking about at $23,000, right? Think about it, it's almost $300,000. Most people can't even comprehend how much that is, right? Because there's no chance they've ever made that kind of money before. So when you go up to somebody and say, you need to make 200 and what is 23 times 12? It's 276, right? Yeah. So you need to make $276,000 a year. Oh, and by the way, that's after taxes, not before taxes.
That's correct.
Right?
Yep.
So if you have to add the taxes in that, you're looking at, oh, you've got to be, especially if you're at $300,000, you'll be in the highest tax bracket. You've got to be making $500,000 to have a chance at your number.
Right.
Okay, now we start to get a little nervous, right? Because we realize, oh crap. Yeah,
because
there's no chance.
Without you even saying this, and I know exactly what it looks like. It's ugly.
Well, let's get something that was even less ugly. Let's assume you're willing to live in the number you have is so big, it will, I think many people on the call will say, there's no way I'll ever make $23,000 a month. It's just not even in my comprehension. I'm going to make you live tight at $15,000.
Okay.
So I'm even going to lower it, which, by the way, you will find isn't enough, and see what the outcome is. And then, Jeff, I want you to go back at the end of this. Let's do 23,000 first, and then we'll go back and put it in at 10,000. Okay, Jeff?
Sounds good.
So let's do his personal desire first, 23,000. Okay? Now, you can see the graph that shows you where you want to be, and you can see the graph of where you are. So now it's time to reveal how much that cup of coffee is now going to be costing
we still need to make sure we got his current annual salary and how much he saved last month.
Oh, crap, that's right, I forgot. Yeah, thank you. And I've got it sitting right here in front of me, so that's right. So how much, sir, did you save last month?
0.
Okay, that's terrible, okay?
Yeah.
But at least you're not spending in the hole, so that's a plus. Right? Okay. And my last question then that I forgot is, what is your current annual or monthly salary? I can't remember.
And Thomas, you're probably going to have to do an average since you're a sales guy. What's your average?
Yeah, and the last
would be about $125,000 a year.
Perfect.
Over the past 3 years, it's right at 125.
Hey, now I'm telling you, there are a lot of people on this call. The average for the person that's making in your category, the average American is only making $50,000 a year. So when you said 125,000, I know, Jeff, I don't know how many people on this call, he is well over what the average American is making.
Yeah, I think that
Top 7.
very rarely do you find people that get up to those ranges for sure.
Well, he's in the top 10%, really close to the top 10% of all American single earners that we have. Holy crap. Okay? Jeff,
Yep.
did you lose me?
Nope, we're still here. We've got you.
Oh, got you. Okay, so now I've been talking to somebody who has an interest knowledge. I'm talking to somebody who is in the top 10% of all Americans in terms of their salary, and he's actually saving, by saving nothing, he's saving more than the average person because everybody else is going in debt. So now the big question is, if I haven't forgotten anything, Jeff, I don't think I have, how much is that Starbucks coffee going to cost him when he is 79 years old, the day before he croaks and he walks in and says, I need me a new cup of coffee?
Well, if this did the math right, it has it at $12.
Think about that. You see why your mamas and daddies, that is only, what, a few years from now.
Yep.
It's not like we're talking 60. You ought to see this when I'm talking to a 22-year-old girl. If I was talking to a 22-year-old and she had to go another 80 years before she had her cup of coffee, that cup of coffee will cost her $40.
Right. Now, what I think also that people may not understand is $3.25 to $12 in, let's see, in about 35 years may not seem that much, but trust me, that's 300-something%.
Yeah, triple everything that you're buying now. So if you're tripling everything you're buying now, I want you to think about your current level of everything you own and all your expenses. Think about it. You're working full time. You've got all of your bills barely covered. And when you're 30 years from now, everything will be 3 times the price.
Right.
So now you suddenly go, oh, crap. Okay, yeah, this might be a problem. Well, let's go down to what is your current situation given the tax consequences as well, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, Jeff, I hope you've got those numbers down there since I can't see them in front of me. But our first one is his monthly net income after it's been adjusted for tax.
$7,291.67.
Good. Okay.
That's about right.
Fair enough. That's got to be pretty close in your tax bracket. And your current level of savings, well, since you have nothing, right, obviously you need to start saving more because you're saving a very small percentage of what you normally should be saving in order to make it. And now the scary number. What percent of his net income, in other words, how much of your monthly check that you're bringing do you need to be saving in order to hit your retirement goal of $23,000 every single month?
It's only
400.
only about 400%, 396%.
I don't know if people understand this number. I got to explain it again. The man makes $120,000 a year. He is in the top 10% of all money earners, and he himself needs to have not 120, but 480,000, give or take some change, a year, and he has to save all of it to be able to hit his goal.
That means realistically, you add 125 to that 480, and I'd be able to cover my bills and retire on my goal.
Well, the good news is, Thomas, you're only 400% short per month in order to do that. So you're well on your way.
Absolutely. Well, you know why? I joined ARIIX, so now I'm going to be fine.
You know what? And that is my whole point tonight. For everybody who's sitting on the call, you listen to me. It won't work. You won't make enough money, and I am the person who defies the odds. I worked really, really hard. I got a good education. I got a great job. I went to work for a company called USANA, and guess what? I made enough that I would be the one person who at retirement would be just fine. And I'm telling you, there was one of us, and maybe the 15 vice presidents, maybe, who would have made it. All 1,200 other employees that are working there, they work the same amount of hours, they work just as hard as Fred Cooper, but since I'm already occupying the top spot, they have no chance. If they continue to do what they're doing at their current employer, they have no chance to have any quality of life at retirement. And yet they still do it. And that's the funny part about it. We're out there trying to talk about ARIIX, why you should do an ARIIX business, why it's a wonderful thing, and you're getting all these people that say, no, you're crazy, you're in a pyramid, you should never do it, or you've got to be so stupid. And then they turn around and go back to their job that mathematically gives them no chance for retirement. And the worst part about it is, everyone sitting on this call, you listen to them. You listen to what those people say, and you say, you're right, I'm in this pyramid. I guess I shouldn't be doing it. I need to go back and just work more. Sir, if you work 4 times as much, you're still not going to make it. Because there's not that many hours in a day.
And Fred, I think the interesting part is it doesn't matter which country we're in. Everybody is finding themselves in this situation, and every government is running out of money to be able to help people in their retirement.
Well, and who believes that it's even going to be around? It's fiscally unstable. It's impossible for it to be maintained. That's why they keep moving up the retirement requirements and the benefits associated with it, because it's unsustainable. And even if it is sustainable, I believe I have maxed out Social Security. If it's still available for me at 67, when I retire, I bet, I can't remember what my number was. I don't want to even quote it. But it was something like $1,500 to $2,000 a month is what I'm scheduled to receive. Give me a break.
Mine was $14.89. I've already seen the thing on it. If I retire.
Oh, it was how much?
$14.89.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you kidding me? You know, I don't even want to get there on the government side of it. I remember my mother put in on Social Security. She worked 35 years. She had a death benefit of $200 when she died, and she got nothing out of Social Security. Totally nothing but a pissed away taxation for my mom because she died when she was 58. It's just, I go crazy when I hear people thinking, well, I'm doing pretty good, I'm saving, I've got a chance. And the younger you are, the more it helps you, but unfortunately, the less you make. So the percentage of your income never seems to change. It won't make a difference. And the older you're getting, the more the problem is exacerbated. It gets worse and worse on you until literally, if you don't do something else, just plan on being poor during your retirement. So, what if by a miracle you decided, hey, I'm not going to listen to all these schmucks who don't know what they're talking about. I'm actually going to do an alternative business like ARIIX. I'm going to face the negativity. I'm going to face what I don't like to do, and that is approach people and listen to them tell me that it's not a good thing or they'll never make any money. All those negativities that cause people to quit. But what if you just did that ARIIX business? So I took the average earnings chart of 2016, the latest one that we have posted. All of these earnings are the result of our averages of 2015. And by the way, every year our average earnings chart goes up. So these numbers will improve over time, not fall. So I want you to go through now, Jeff. I did the calculations based on what he wanted, and it will tell you what you need to be for you, sir, to be able to obtain your objectives. Well, Option 1, get 4 jobs to meet your goal. or option 2 is ARIIX.
I did cheat a little bit and gave him at least saving $300 a month, and that way
Oh, okay.
I had mercy upon his soul with that one. So Thomas, I love you, man, but we gave you $300 a month of savings, and
That's awesome.
so the average person saves less than a team lead. Team leads are just as base as it gets within our comp plan, and if he's saving
And think about,
go ahead.
yeah, but think about that. I have to interject. If you took your team lead and made it a solid team lead business, and you just took your team lead mission, you would already be in the top half of all savers in America.
And that's what's just so amazing, with about $100 a month.
Jeff, so Jeff, we had that conversation. I'm so glad I'm on this webinar. So we had that conversation a little while back about what this young man was saying. He was saying that, people go, why are you getting all involved in pyramid? And you got to go, I gotta go back to work and all that. There's a reason for that, sir, because 97% of America is afraid of the unknown, and 15% of America are millionaires, but only 3% are self-made. The numbers correlate. That makes me want to be a millionaire, period.
Yeah. It's true. I just don't get why we listen to people. We all worry about who our kids hang out with for bad peer influence, but we do the same in our financial future by hanging out with people who have no clue what their destiny is going to look like, and they don't seem to worry about it, but they're sure if you do network marketing, you're crazy for doing it.
Yes. Well, Microsoft started off as a multi-level marketing. So did Dell Computer Corporation.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
We're gonna have to do a fact check on that one, Thomas. But for now, we'll take your word on that. But it says to be a senior director on average, it takes 6 months for him to match his savings, which the senior director average only takes 6 months within our comp plan. And it says to achieve senior vice president, if he did that in the next 19 years, then that would obviously go towards it. But within our comp plan, the average vice president takes 8 months to achieve it. And by doing both,
so hold it.
Double
You got to read that again. You got to read that again, Jeff. You got to emphasize it. How long does the average senior vice president take based on our average earnings?
8 months.
8 months. But because, sir, we know you're clueless, we're going to give you how many years?
19.
So if you can do in 19 years what the average person can do in 8 months, cha-ching, you hit your objective.
And that is because we gave him $300 savings instead of the zero.
Yeah. Okay, next.
So if he does both of them, he will double his current savings. So if he is able to do the senior director and vice president, then he's going to double his current savings.
So I got news for you. Why would you continue to do something that I'm not even going to tell you quit your job? Because that'll continue to pay your bills as ARIIX takes time to earn money. Not like a job, thank heavens, because if it was like a job, you wouldn't make your end goal. Continue to do your job, but here's the cool thing. Do ARIIX 1 hour a day. And by the way, this isn't doing ARIIX. As much as I like Jeff and I like his webinars, sitting on the phone for 1 hour doesn't count. Doing ARIIX means you are approaching and talking and presenting the opportunity to people you know or have been introduced to. 1 hour a day, that's it. Give up television for 1 hour. When somebody says, hey, I only watched an hour of television today, I always laugh. I say, do you have any idea how much money that cost you? You think it cost you nothing. You're just sitting there. But if you would have taken that same 1 hour a day for 5 days a week, take your weekends off. We're talking 5 hours a week for 3 years, 4 months, and several days. You will make more from your ARIIX business. The average person will earn more in ARIIX than they would earn at their full-time job.
And Fred, because we're about out of time, Thomas, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate
Thomas,
you
you were
doing that.
great, baby.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Fred, you've got a couple questions coming in from people and lots of different comments. And Joe is telling you that you think your numbers are even low on how much Social Security is going to pay as a 65-year-old. He says it's low. Wendy asks, so if the average American thinks MLM is a pyramid, then how do you recruit them if they refuse to see reason?
You don't. If you get someone who refuses it, don't waste your time. You're not going to change them. And I got news for you. Tens of thousands of people join network marketing every day. They just hear about the opportunity from someone else other than you. So the person that talks to the most people wins. And if you spend all your time trying to convert one person to switch and change their perspective, you'll never accomplish your goal. What you have to do is talk to them. If they're reasonable and they want to listen, approach further. But once you realize they can't change their mind, guess what? 9 out of 10 people won't do anything with direct selling anyway. That's the stat. That's the cold hard facts. So you know what? You can try to change one of those 9 and change their perception, or you can say, you know what? I'm looking for 9 no's, because on the 10th person, they will say yes to me and continue to build the business. And that is what my 1 hour a day is all about. It really isn't about getting and finding these wonderful people. It's about statistically doing, consistently talking to people, finding the people who have an interest to do it. Because those same ignorant people that say it's a pyramid are the same ignorant people that have a desk job, making $45,000 a year, have nothing in savings, are spending more money than they make, telling you you don't know what you're doing. And it's just pathetic, because the sad part is you will be exactly in their boat if you listen to them.
And I think, Fred, one of the biggest difficulties that new people have within network marketing, of course, is understanding the numbers, but also understanding when to walk away from a prospect, when to continue to work with someone, when to walk away. And I would echo what you're saying with it. The biggest difficulty with me as a new person is how many people I had to talk to. It was disproportionate compared to what I do now. And the more money you make, the more you have the ability to do it. But so many people think you have an advantage that because you do make the money, or that you have a CEO title, or whatever it is that you have. But realistically, it is still a numbers game. And I think that's the difficulty, is when to walk away and when to spend time with that person. You got a lot of people asking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to say, Jeff, not only do I agree with that, I wouldn't waste your time. You know what? You're not going to be very good. You get a much higher success rate now, Jeff, because why? You're polished. You've gotten good at it. You've gotten good at accepting the rejection. It's never easy, but you've gotten better. You know how to listen and approach and meet the needs. Those are all the things you can learn at these seminars to be more effective. But even Jeff, no matter how good Jeff is, he might get them in, but it's still human nature in the end. Will they build it or not? And he still has about the same success ratio. Believe me, Jeff Boyle does not know any better who will do well at this business and who will fail than you do. Because if he did, he wouldn't waste 1 minute on anybody but who could be successful. Because that's the great thing about network marketing. Anyone can do it.
And I think that is the difficulty for the brand new person, Fred, is that typically the people who start to do well and start to make money, the no that they receive from a prospect doesn't affect them as much. And I think you're right. The success ratio is almost always the same. You can increase it by gaining skills, by improving belief, by understanding the compensation plan, by using the proper tools, and really just understanding what to do. But the difference between me now and back when I first started, when I was a 25-year-old, I understand now not very many people are going to join us, and it doesn't affect me the way that it used to.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of people asking, how do they get this spreadsheet? That's being asked about 50 times so far.
Well, actually, I believe Jeff Boyle liked this. That's why he wanted it put on the conversation. I think we're going to build one for people in back office. And here's the funny part. It isn't particularly unique. If you go to any financial planning location, they are there's a plethora of these types of calculations trying to educate people on how to do it. But until that time, Jeff, I'm okay if you send it to people, and we are going to be putting one on the back office.
Well, I will make it available then. I'll put a link on the Saturday morning call so people can do that. And we'll go through a couple different things with it. And Fred, I know that you had to do a lot of different things to get here tonight, and I'm really, really appreciative for it. And I know that we've had a lot of different people on this. And so I think realistically, the best thing that I saw from this was it just made so much sense. But realistically, very few people will use their common sense when they look at this. And I just loved it because it just put it there in black and white. But in the end, guys, please understand that it doesn't matter if you've got Fred Cooper talking to people. And Fred, you've been in the room with me with some of my big prospects, and they still have told them no.
Yep.
They still have told them no.
Yep.
So thank you so much for being on, Fred. And we'll figure out a way to make this available. You've got all kinds of people telling you thank you. And we'll make sure those of you who are asking about the call for this Saturday, just make sure there's your beautiful picture, Fred. I put the picture of you and with your beautiful orange hair from the Scottish. This is where you guys can always register for our Thursday calls and our Saturday calls. Every week we have different people on here. And Fred, we're just so grateful you'd be on with us. And things are cooking. It was kind of fun to sit next to you and you listen about how we are growing everywhere now. And it's not that long ago, and people don't know this, and maybe it's because I just had the pleasure of, or displeasure, whatever you want to call it, of hearing Fred when some of the weeks weren't going so well 4 years ago. And you have to know these guys have been so dedicated to it, and they went through the tough times in order to get to these times now when we're growing everywhere. Fred, thank you for being on with us. We're so grateful for that.
Hey, my pleasure, Jeff. I enjoyed it.
Well, have fun at your son's basketball game. I hope he scores 30 points.
I hope he shoots.
Thanks for being on, guys. This is where you can find all of the different trainings that we do. This will be recorded, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for being on, everyone.